I have to tell you why. And during Valentine's Day, they had a secret pal type of agreement. And so he was picked.
I'm going to go down and see if
Hey, see you when you
you're
get
going
home.
to be around here for a while, then I'll
Not
be back
forever.
up.
If I'm here, I'll see you.
Elizabeth sing.
Oh, I do not want to know. Yeah, it'll do the thing like this doesn't make sense. And then I'll say it again. And I'll be like,
She's going to have one of those things.
What's that?
She's going to have a...
Oh, for Patrick?
Uh-huh.
Here's my excuse. This is legitimate. Before I got there, I was working at the gym. Well, I was before the day.
and then you got a car.
Yeah.
And then
And then so I landed like this, and
Oh,
I
and
had no
your
arm
arms.
strength, so I was like,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Oh, word.
So I did duplicate some feedback on here because this thing is live.
Right.
It will feed.
Turn the volume down.
And have the
So that's
volume
why
on.
that's yeah. Yeah, battery power. What's going away this afternoon?
The model project table. Is that what she said? The model project table is going away?
Oh, I didn't hear. So I was answering a question.
I was just making it up. I don't know if that was true or not. Makes Who's on right now? Do you know?
Pat is on, and then Tim.
So is it streaming?
I think so. Even though it just says starting at 1.
You're watching yourself on TV?
Yes, but now I'll watch
look
you.
at that guy.
I'm trying to see if I can get this. It works for the certification.
Oh, the streaming. It's great.
I have to wait till she's done, then I want to see if I can unhook her sound and have it as an output going into here, so anybody using a microphone is straight into here. Does that make sense?
Which output from her computer?
From the sound mixer. I think I can get in there. It'll take some fiddling. Done it earlier, but Jay had other things he was doing during the rehearsal. But
I just texted Kathy to ask if she was going to, but I said, are you going to teach her 369 song? Because I was
talk about
Like
the
to
tuba.
mess around with your stuff.
Hang on.
Any questions? Okay, great. Good to see you. Okay, so this is what I want to do today. I want to sort of start with how you walk in the band room to getting into lead. So I get asked all the time to start to play the tuba, and I tell lots of jokes, which I'll say a lot about how that started. But the truth of the matter is that for me it was this moment in kindergarten when I was watching the 6th grade jazz band play, and so this was in the early 1970s. And I'm in the front of the room, and the drummer, everybody has their hair, parted. And I'm checking it out, and they get to, like they hit the chorus of Yellow Submarine or whatever it was that they were playing, and the place lit up, all lit up and went crazy, and I was, God, I have to be a drummer. And so from that, every single day at the lunchroom, I would corner the band director and go, hey, Mr. Baldrica, I need to be in the band. Well, that happens in 4th grade. You can't do that until then. I was like, yeah, but I need to be in the band now. He's like, what for? The chicks. Over and over and over. This is a true story. I'm going to be making this up. And so it was like every day, finally I get to the band room, and they called everybody down in alphabetical order, which would never fly nowadays, right? They called everybody down in alphabetical order to see what instrument they would like to play in the band. By the time they got to S, they had 11 drummers in the beginning band. Let that sink in for a minute. Right, so they said, no, we can't have a 12th. Let that sink in for a minute. Like, what do you mean? What's one more in a sea of 11? So they said, well, but there's nobody playing the sousaphone. And in the corner, there was a bell-less, rusty sousaphone. You had to have a tetanus shot before you played it. And they said, well, why don't you try this? For 1 year, if you like it after that, then you can keep playing, otherwise you can change. And I was like, oh, okay, fine. And so people asked me, after that first year, the band director did something really smart in that very first year in 4th grade. He played this piece called, I think the title of it was Hey Mr. Banjo, but it's this thing where you sing along and then there's a little solo for a little 8-bar, 12-bar blues kind of a solo. So they turned it around, Hey Mr. Tuba, play a song for me, and it was a little tuba solo. So in the very first year, I got a chance to have a little melody, a rare occurrence. It's like Halley's Comet. And I was hooked, and it wasn't really the instrument at all, actually, to be honest with you. It was the joy of music. It's what we teach. So for me, I was hooked. I didn't care what it was. It happened to be what I was playing, so I was like, great, the tuba. So then people say, okay, well, how do you recruit tuba players? And it's just that way. If you want to look at it from a standpoint, you're going to look for those people that come into your band, or come into your band room at the instrument setting zoo, if you had something like that, or that are in the lunchroom if that's where you're heading out to try to find people to play in your band. The ones that come in and talk about the movies, they talk about special. Right? If they don't want to play drums, this is it. Because it's on the bottom. It's like that's where their ears are. So they take something that's very low right away. It sounds like an odd thing, it's completely true. But the other one you want to find out for, if you want to just look across the personality of students in your student body, is look for the people that are holding the door open. Look for the people that help somebody out when something's wrong. Because that's exactly how you find tuba players. I ask tuba players everywhere, hey, how my band director came and said, when I said, okay, tuba players are helpers. They will always do that, so that's how you look for it. It's like, oh, that guy holds that person out, hey, bass left. That's exactly how it's going to go down, because that's who they are. That's what bass function is in the form of musicality. People that can step back and go ahead melody, go ahead counter melody, I'm going to be a part of the body. So all the jokes about food and alcohol aside, for tuba players, which should start in 4th grade, impressive. Food altering. It's that this is the type of person that they are, that likes to be, know that they're running the time, or know that they're in charge of intonation, or know that if they crescendo, the band's going to crescendo, innuendo. And if they don't know that, then we teach them that. It's part of teaching bass function. The people that are gravitate for that, tuba, bass clarinet, very saxophone. This is it. Bass clarinet. I like to do this at the instrument petting zoo. I've had a couple of my friends that are middle school and elementary school band directors. My wife is beginning band now. And so I go to the instrument petting zoo, which is the beginning of the school year, which is always really fun. And I sit with my tuba. I get a kid that sits down that's like, you can tell, like, they're sort of walking the line between euphonium, which is pocket protector, leaning forward, head The ones that are like, whoa, definitely tuba. It's definitely that. Because if it's like they like need more than this, and it's like fine, assume, right? 11 places to put your thumb has two uses: proctology and pursuit flying. That's it. And in medicine, that would be like virtuoso. That'd be unbelievable. It's a tuba clinic, of course. So from a recruitment standpoint, it's helpers. It's those that are attracted to that. If you explain it in terms of bass function when they finally get it, like, hey, look at all the lead bands that happen to be the bass players, or the great authors of really great songs happen to be bass players. Let them know who Sting is, and let them know who Jaco Pastorius is. Let them find out who Rocco Presley is, who Tower Power. These people that are gravitated towards that make great tuba players. That's where we want to look for those types of people. Okay, then when it's time to get going, one of the questions I get asked all the time is about mouthpieces. And up until this year, I never was organized about this. I didn't have to be in the book. That's because it's in the bass clef. That'll happen in a few years. But it is posted somewhere, right, Scott? Where's it at?
Easy downloads.
Yeah, great. So it's there. It's a list of recommended mouthpieces. They're sort of color-coded by first choice, second choice, third choice. Inside of that, when it says smaller setup, that's about bass. That's about when they're small, when they're short, when their lips are a little bit thinner. That's a small. Really want to play the tuba, then there's a mouthpiece for that. So that's recommended there. There's also one that has a sidebar about sousaphone mouthpieces. So while we're talking about that, that's the last 38. It's the greatest mouthpiece ever. It's in my bag right there. For across all instruments, but we're playing big B flat tuba when we're more advanced, and we're playing sousaphone. This is it'll turn a sousaphone into a outside. It's awesome. Keep it from overblowing, keep it all bad. While we're on the sousaphone, by the way. This is an incorrect thing that's never been correct. I like that fake crescendo. By the way, how is it to be shizzled? Just a sidebar, I don't know if you've talked about it because you've got loads of Sousa information, but the Army Band did a thing this fall that is true, and it's still on YouTube. It's the secret of success in Sousa. If we didn't talk about it, it's there. It's awesome. It's a clinic over and over. So when it's time for this on a sousaphone, it's never been corrected. It's like the D below the staff on sousaphone in every situation, on every model, all the time, is third valve. It is not 1 and 2. It's 3. Every book about B flat tuba will say that that note is 1 and 2. Is it 1 and 2 on a B flat tuba? Sometimes. But mostly. Sousaphone is third valve, period. Trying to tune a D on a sousaphone, it's like, guys, you got to hear it better. You're making it play 1 and 2 because it says that in the fingering chart. Please, third valve. It'll solve all your problems on the sousaphone. While we're on the sousaphone or tubas, what's the difference between a 3-valve tuba and a 4-valve tuba? With 1 valve. So what's the difference in when and why? On the sousaphone, let's talk about this, right? If you're having an arranger score for a note that's requiring that you have, which would be down below low B flat, down, which would be F would be the first time that you would use it. This is a note that you will never hear on the field unless you're a band of 5 playing for an audience of 6. It's not going to happen. If you're having somebody, one of your writers is writing down below low B flat a lot, it's like, call me, take it up an octave, fire, whatever. It's never going to happen. So this is what so Jim Hudson's like, hey Pat, we're going to buy a whole bunch of sousaphones for the Arizona State Marching Band. 30 of them. What should we do? It's got to have 4 valves. It's got to have a bigger valve. It's got to have bigger bore. It's got to have 4 valves for playing tune. Blah blah blah. First of all, if you write like that, I'm not helping you. It's never going to be heard. 32 in a band of 450. There's never going to hear that. It's up in the staff, or just barely below the staff. So those are notes you don't need a 4th valve for. The 3rd valve option for it. So why not have less tubing, have a smaller one? We'll have it's like 30 souphones. We need the big board at the bottom of the band. I was like, no, this sound in a stadium where the decibel level at the ambient noise is 100 decibels, and it's this sound. You don't hear those sounds. You have to be up in where the bass is playing in the staff. That's where it has to be. So 3 valves outside is all you need. If you're having a 4th valve, nobody's hearing it. Will it be in tune? Absolutely. Super helpful for not hearing it. Everybody understand that while I'm here? Any questions about it? This just shouldn't be scored though when you're playing outside. Why the smaller bore? It's cleaner. Got more than 2 players. Playing a band with more than 20 outside, you need clean from the bottom of the band. You don't need big, huge, giant sounds, which you wouldn't hear anywhere but a concert hall anyway. You need clarity from the bottom. So Jim went with 26 and 3 valve, and he's like, I want to maybe every once in a while have low things and have the valves to be able to do it. And I was like, okay. And they said nobody wants to play it. Because it's heavier, it's bigger, it doesn't play as well as 3 valves. So that's my 2 cents about that. A little bit smaller, a little bit cleaner, it's much better. Question, please.
Is there much of a difference between like the
Thank you for following the base. So let me explain to you from a manufacturer's perspective. So before I worked for Jupiter for the last 8.5 years, Sam Clayton and I have designed 19 pro models of brass and 38 student models, including which we started with the Quantum Marching Series. From high brass all the way through low brass. And before that, I designed instruments for Blues and Hawks, the Besson label, and before that was for Yamaha. And they can tell you that the only reason that a 4-valve sousaphone is even ever offered is because music educators ask for it. Right? So it's invented for you. It's exactly the same is true of the contract. Manufacturers don't want to make it. Players don't want to design it. It's not a real instrument. It's not ever going to play great. It's never going to be balanced. It's never going to be perfectly, because so many things have to happen that are compromises about this to make this happen, that you lose from this, which are not involved in this. Does that make sense? It's a huge compromise. I get that people love the way it looks. I would say that'd be the only reason to use it. It's hard to get all the sousaphone to be the right way, and it's messy, it doesn't look good. It's not the same as trumpets and trombones and mellophones going boom down like that. But from the standpoint of sound, that should be an easy question to answer, right? If I had a speaker set that had a 24-inch woofer, a bell with a sousaphone, and a speaker set with an 18-inch woofer, which one is going to make the hair off your head blow away? It's this one over here. It's the same as a sousaphone and a contra. It's the same exact thing. The size of the bell, the size of the sound. Does that answer? From the standpoint of playing and balancing all that stuff, and like, so I'll give you an example of this too. Like, oh, these brands are really easy to hold. They feel so good. And it sounds really good. I'm like, yeah, but if you step back 10 yards, you can't hear it. And then there's the other brands where it's like, oh my God, this is so out of balance. It's really heavy. It's like, yeah, but the sound is all the way up to the box. And that's the compromise. When you put one up here that plays well, it's a real tuba. So it's the real weight, out of balance, and it's just got a weird lead pipe to get it to happen right. Watch why it plays well, and it's just a complete. If you see anybody in DCI in December, the snare drummers look, they're all doing this by the end of the year. The sousaphone players all have scoliosis, right? Everybody turn around. Oh, look at the sousaphone players right there. They're all crushed and back. Question back.
What about environment?
Yeah, that would be the same thing. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it works out. I would say from the standpoint of being able to deliver, which I'll talk about here in terms of starting to the players from the brass part of the clinic, is that tension is the enemy of tone. So the better my setup can be tension free when I'm standing or sitting in front of me, the better more characteristic sound that I'm going to make. So if it's really hard to hold, it gets in the way of being able to be characteristic with the sound. And the sousaphone, when you get the bell in the right place and you get the ball, it just hangs it. It's just hanging out. So if you know a little bit about your skeleton with top balance, which we'll talk about today, you can have it hang out for forever. No way. There's a reason that professional military bands don't use those. The bands. Some of the good course different things. That's not tradition the way it looks. It's not about that it would be nice to play a concert and boneyard for a funeral for 3 hours. It's not. And the sousaphone just hangs out. That help? Any other questions about that? By the way, while we're on the sousaphone, it's 2 bits. It's always 2 bits. Yeah, always. Not 1 bit, not no bit, 2. Always 2. They're supposed to be 2. Why do they come sometimes with 4? Because some of them have a stronger angle, some of them are more straight. So it's a combination of the ones that are more straight, sort of double S curve them, will need to go right angle because your setup needs to be closer, so you're going to go this way and then it goes. So like there's, for example, the 3 and 4 valve Jupiter sousaphones, there's 4 bits there, 2 right angle bits, 2 more straight bits to help get the right combination. But it's 2 bits, always, or it's not.
What does that mean?
So this, when you put a sousaphone together, first thing that goes in is the neck, this crook that comes down, then there's 2 little short lead pipe. And it's supposed to be, you're given building their lead time. How long should it be in a sousaphone? 2 days. 2 of those length of those things. Is that clear for everybody? Any other questions about that? Yes.
So the bits, if they're missing, is that the kind of thing you have to go to the manufacturer for, or do music stores carry those? Or?
Music stores carry those sometimes, and sometimes they work for some instruments.
Are they manufacturer specific?
Sometimes. Yeah, usually yes. I would say usually yes. Or you know it's at the neck. And then if it's an older one, if it's been in the closet there for a long time, it's going to have a much smaller neck. The throat on that's going to be really small. So you'll have to experiment. But most, I would say, if you want to find a place where you're going to they're always going to have. It's Dylan Music, DILLON, DylanMusic.com. It's in Woodbridge, New Jersey. They have basements full of used stuff for exactly these kinds of requests. The tuba guy there, his name is Matt Walters. He's fabulous, lovely gentleman. If you call Dylan Music and ask for Matt Walters, you have any tuba questions about, do you have this, might you have this, he will help you out. And if he doesn't, he will steer you to someone that will look for you as well. He's a beautiful gentleman. That's a great question about that kind of research. Awesome. What else? Any questions about this? Yes?
Fiberglass versus metal.
Yeah, I would reference a speaker again. Fiberglass is lovely and light, and it's going to do what a fiberglass does, which is it doesn't vibrate evenly across the range of the bugle, so it makes it more super long bell that doesn't have the same kind of taper and the same kind of bends that are but yeah, I mean, the more inconvenient in the sousaphone area is, all the better, the better sound. The heavier versions. It vibrates like a real instrument outside. Any other questions like that, about that? I can't see your hands. Yes, sorry. I've seen a lot of a variety of different fixes with fiber, fix it like fix it, so on and so forth. Have you tried duct tape? I mean, that's always sort of duct tape, super glue. Yeah. I usually it's the same. If you get a tear in the bell, it's kind of like, thank you. It's a difficult art. At the same time, via a lot of the variety of outlets, it's not that hard to run into plastic sousaphone parts, as you might think if you look or call around. And I would just start with Dylan Music. That's where I start. Let him point you from there to the sort of black market of sousaphone parts. But to be honest with you, the answer would be an answer of a structural engineer that works in fiberglass. So if you had a band parent that was like that kind of person, I'd say, okay, what would you do? How would you do this? But, and see what their answer would be. I finally have a flight case for my biggest thing ever. It's under 50 pounds, and they look at it, they're like, oh, that's good. We're gonna, and then they look, oh, it's only 47. Okay. No idea. Every flight can be $200 each way. And I went to a packaging engineer. She plays in my band. I used to give her crap. I said, what is a packaging engineer? We wrap presents for a living. Packaging engineer. Like, what a Starbucks title that would be, right? She's like, no, actually, we make containers to ship medical goods and so on and so forth. So they both in the middle of a pieces of foam. And so I went to an expert about how to figure out how to ship a package. And they made it easy for me to use a case to do it. So that would be, I guess that'd be my answer. Be like, I could fiberglass a boat fixer, dude. Question in the back. A couple of big, yeah.
If I want to buy a new tuba for concert band, 4 valves, C or B flat, do you have any recommended models?
Can you go through the range of middle school and then high school as well?
You mean like types of tubas?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a funny thing about this is the only country in the whole world. Maybe you've heard this before. So see, you can turn on a couple of channels on TV to hear this. We're the only country in the whole world where tubas read in bass clef and C. It's the only place. Everywhere else they read just like a horn player, trumpet player. Everywhere else. By the way, B-flat instrument. So how do tuba players in North America deal? We read different fingerings. That's what we do. We don't do the transposition. You have to tuba player like concert pitch like men's lunch. They know what that means. We know different fingerings, right? So I think about B-flat tuba. It's like, oh, that's this and F, that's this and E-flat, that's this and C, and that's this, it's open on B-flat tuba. So which does it matter? There are really good B-flat tubas now that a student, if you have one of those students, it's like, man, really want him to get the right thing because he's definitely going to go to college, he's definitely going to major in music, and I definitely want him to be set up to only have to buy a tuba one time. It doesn't really matter. I got an E-flat tuba when I was in grade, and when I was home, I played this with those fingerings, and when I was at school, I played B-flat fingerings, and I just memorized it too. It took me exactly like 2 days to learn it. And you it's like, my wife teaches a youth brass band. When the kids come in from your bands, they come in and the horn players read F, and they have to read E-flat there, and the trombone players have never seen a treble clef. They thought that's what you did on the date. Tuba players are in B-flat and in E-flat, and there's an E-flat trumpet part. And it takes about 2 weeks for those students who are grow up in American band systems to learn how to read those transpose parts. It's really not that big of a deal. You just let them do it. It's all sloppy and messy, and then pretty soon it's like, oh, this is how we play in the sandbox when we become a brass band, and pretty soon the transpositions happen. So B-flat or C, they would just learn different fingerings. Doesn't really matter. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Why B-flat? It's because what you asked for, so the manufacturers provided it. Professionals were doing the other thing the whole time. I can't explain some of the like behaviors of why it happened. And everybody's play C. C trombone, C euphonium, C tuba. C trumpet. Up in Germany, it's F tuba, B-flat tuba. So does it make a difference? No. What will they do in the back of your band? They'll read the notes, concert pitch, and they'll learn different fingerings. C will either be open or four. You know what I mean? That's it. And they'll adjust very quickly. It's not what do we do? Junior high, what should I do with junior high? Is a smaller tuba better? And it really depends. I started playing a big con, whatever that was, 12, J, back in the 70s. I played this way, because I was this height. So when I sat up to the mouthpiece, my head was here. And my arm just reached over the top and I played tuba this way. And when I sat in the sousaphone, I couldn't get the mouthpiece, and my hands were really hard to get down to the valves. So I sat on phone books to get to the mouthpiece, and I wore cymbals so I could touch the valves. I started in 4th grade. I was taller then. So when should you start it? Should you start on euphonium? You know what, man? If somebody wants to play tuba, for sure, never say no. Ever. I don't care for tuba. Right? It doesn't matter. It makes zero difference at all. I taught a student named Eddie Brown who wanted to play tuba his whole life. One of his arms, the arm that should be about playing the valves, went to the elbow. He didn't have a hand. And on this hand, it was perfectly functional. So the rotor valve tuba, put the paddles around so he could play this way with this part of his arm that was not formed fully. And he's an amazing musician. He walked into your band like that. It's like he would have missed out on it. So band is yes. What is the right age? I don't know where this thing about euphonium started. Don't you want to use it in the beginning band? Okay, well then start it. I think a part of the a lot of teaching it's like, well, you can only go so far and you can only be here. There's a certain company whose main author in their method books like, students can only go to the F below the staff when they start off. Like, that's insanity. You can play all the way down to the F below that within a couple of days. So low B-flat should certainly be on the radar for that. Well, we'll get to that how in a second. But I think you should start early. If you have some smaller tubas for the smaller folks, it works. Are there accommodations for playing a big tuba when you're little? Yeah, tuba stands. Right? There's certain the dag stand goes really low, so when it's one of those big Yamahas that's really tall, the person's really short, the tuba needs to go down. Dag stand works great. Long-term usage, A&M's really good. I designed a Hercules recently that's just out on the market that has 2 different things. We'll talk about using the tuba stand. That's the truth. Back while I'm on the tuba stand thing. 5 active designers of tubas on the planet. 5 active designers of tubas on the planet. There should be 5 tuba players on the planet that when they sit down to play their instrument, the mouthpiece comes perfectly to their face because they designed the horn. Every other tuba player, unless they're building one of those 5 designers, playing one of those tubas that those 5 designers designed, should be using the tuba stand. Period. All the time. We'll talk about why in a second. It should be with, it should go along all the time. Otherwise, just right, play the tune. That's why they sound like that, because they're under stress. You might just try to hold it when they're using something like that. So when they go from a 3-valve to a 4-valve, it's really a budgetary issue. If you can start beginners on a 4-valve tube that they can get their hands around and play, which is how I started, then that's exactly what they should be. If you're a brass player and you feel comfortable with having smaller tubes, the best way to start somebody would be on an E-flat tube. But you'd have to have a budget for that. You want to make sure that then they would learn how to move on. There's all kinds of stuff that goes along with that. But that would be the best way to be on a small tube that fits them, that's in this key, that's a fifth below a euphonium. Sort of halfway the way to B-flat too, but that's exactly how they taught everybody in England, and in Switzerland, and in Norway, and in Holland, and in Belgium, and in Luxembourg, places that have advanced 7th and 8th grade brass players. They sort of understood that fits them, but that's the whole thing. You can't, it's just like impossible in the United States. It was small and B-flat tube came from. That idea, where that came from was the small C tube that Chuck Downbach had designed for himself so he could stand up and move around on stage with it. So the small little convertibles again came from a private professional standpoint. It came and like, hey, what did I do to make that first smaller stature first? Cool. I want to move into the sort of addressing how to play. I don't want to start with posture. Michelle, are you still here? My wife's here? Yeah, great. This is my wife, Michelle. Everybody say hi, Michelle. Michelle was 9 years high school band director and came to ABC in 2002. And now she teaches general music and beginning band. But she's the reason I have her up here is we're going to talk about how to have posture for playing actually all instruments. But since we're talking about the tuba, this tuba in particular, from the standpoint of how what goes into it. So tension is the enemy of tone. I want to have the most relaxed body, be able to go in and out, be able to make great characteristic sounds on a wind instrument. And she's 5 foot what? 3 on wishful days, right? 5'3" on wishful days. But she's the perfect height for these chairs, which are in most of your band rooms across America. There's not people that are about 5'4", 5'5", and shorter for the types of ways that we teach posture. All right? So, of tone, there are 0 muscles in your body designed to hold you up there for pushing, pulling, and rotating. So stand up, sit up, is false anatomically. Right? The attention for the length of time you have to play, for example, a full honors funeral in Arlington Cemetery. If you were holding yourself up in the air at attention, structure and how it holds you up. So the vernacular of every wind player has to fit what anatomical truth is. When they show up in our band room in the typical 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade height of 5'3", and they sit in the chair, she's used to this. She likes it. She likes being teased about her height. Don't worry. It's okay. I just go going like, oh my gosh, yeah, no, really. So when she sits in the chair, we look for the things that we're used to seeing. She can sit in this chair comfortably, and her knees are below her hips, which is what's really important. But her feet are flat on the floor. So from our old piece of assessment, sit up straight, feet flat on the floor, which has 0 to do with great breathing, by the way. That's really looking great at the beginning band. The things that are still necessary for her to have great breathing are in place for someone at this height in this size chair, which is that her knees are below her hips, and she's sitting balanced over our sit bones. Those are the 2 new pieces of instruction that replace the other one, by the way. So when I sit in the chair, so I would sit this way, looking at each other. So there's her hips, there's her knees. You can see a downward angle. And her feet can be flat on the floor, or they can be somewhere else. When I sit in my chair like this, in this chair, over my sits bones, my knees are at the same level. For those of you that are taller than 6'1", then it's going to be up like this, right? You ever notice when all of a sudden you look back in the trombone section and they're in 8th grade and they're like their knees are up in the air and they're playing like this all the time, right? It's because we told them to sit up flat on the floor. And when their feet go flat on the floor and their inseam is all of a sudden 49, and their knees are way up in the air and they're trying to sit up, they're using their abdominal muscles to do something we ask them to do. And it's not in the way. Feet flat on the floor, sit up straight is a static piece of instruction that would work for somebody who's shorter than 5'4" at the beginning of their time playing in band, and the sit up straight thing is actually false anatomy. You don't do that. You sit down. And I don't mean that in a funny literal way. I mean that you don't use muscles to sit down or stand up. You use your bones to support your body. So you can see the difference here. So what I have to do to be able to sit in the chair as comfortably as Michelle is cross my ankles so that my knees go below my hips. Now sitting on my sits bones is very easy, so breathing is easy because my spine's in the right position. I sit this way, I sit this way. Sometimes I sit this way, but in band that's not too aesthetically pleasing. I often sit this way. Often sit this way. It suddenly became couples therapy. We'll go back there. So this is where I have to be. So for me, that's a piece of instruction about feet flat on the floor, sit up straight. I was 5'3". I was in fact, shoe size 7. Yeah, I was a woman's shoe size 7 in 7th grade. In 4th grade. I remember that because my mom was like, "No, you don't need boots. You can just wear mine." I was like, "Nah." Your mom's boots? No, those are your mom's boots. Okay, anyway, so. Good, man. That's called the base clef, buddy. All right, so we can all experience this together, right? So these chairs are not designed for us to sit comfortably to breathe, but let's do that. So we'll all do it together. We'll sit where the chair tells us to sit. So yeah, get on back where you were. Use the back of the chair. This is awesome, right? Let's just breathe from here. Let's go in for 8 counts. What I want you to notice about count 5 is you're not going to feel so good. What that is your ribs are stuck down because your spine's out of position, and your lungs want to keep expanding, and they slam into unmoving ribs. All right? Tonight, Southern barbecue. Here we go. So everybody breathe in for 8. Breathe in, yeah. Yeah, that feeling. 7, out, and proof that your spine has to be in the right position. Great. Let's all slide forward. Your sits bones, S-I-T-Z, those are the ones you're sitting on. The right one, you don't need your hands to find them. But make sure that you're sitting balanced. If you sit back in the chair like that, you're sitting on your glutes. When you sit too far forward, you're sitting on the back of your thighs. Sit balanced over your sits bones. Notice that if we do that thing that teenagers love to do when they're in our band room, like that, that's actually not over your sits bones, even though it might look straight up and down from the podium. From this place right here, now I'm sitting on my glute, right? So I want to get over the sits bones. I don't want to sit up. I want to sit, that would be on the back of my thigh. So stretch up, and that sort of sit up, look right kind of thing. Right, now you're actually sitting back here. You're not here. So find that place, sit down. So for that, let's breathe in for 8 counts for there. Breathe in, breathe. Out. Let's make it better. Cross your ankles, everybody. So now below your hips. You don't want to be in front of the chair with your sits bones. You want to be down on the chair using your skeleton balance. When I'm sitting here, balance here, 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 all lined up. Right? Not too far back, not too far forward. Nice and relaxed. Everybody do this like this. Squeeze your glutes, squeeze your shoulders, and then just let go. Great. Stay there. Make sure that you don't collapse your back because that's on your glute. Here we go. In for 8. Knees below your hips. Breathe. Out. That's it. That's the difference. That's your new way to teach posture. And this is dynamic, by the way. It'll grow with them as they grow. What is it again? Balanced over my sits bones. That belies a kinesthetic exercise to develop awareness, which is simply glutes, thighs, sits bones. Balanced in the middle. Knees below the hips. That's it. That allows the people that are going to grow an inch a week in your junior high band and the beginning of high school band to have their posture change. Why is this important? It's important because you're their band director. So if they have both parents, you're the third person in their life. If they're a teenager and they're in their band and they still have both parents, you might be first or second important in life because they always say right? Right. But you're that important in their life. So if something as simple as posture, sit up straight, feet flat on the floor, doesn't work for them physically anymore, because you're that important and they want to please you, they will do exactly those things. How do I know that? Because they walk through my door when they're 50, 60, and 70 years old with things as macabre as task-specific vocal dystonia, ranging down to things as gentle as just mild performance anxiety. Still remember all of your names. Why? Because when you're in trouble as a professional musician or as an amateur musician, you work your way back through every master class, every clinic, everything that you ever heard to find a piece of information that provides you with a piece of salvation to work your way out of your job problem. And they always end up with you. They still remember your first name. They still remember your last name, Mr. or Mrs. Miss. Name, and then they talk about, oh yeah, and number one, there's 2 things that come up in every single person that walks through my door that can't play anymore. The first one is how they sit. I'm like, tell me how you sit. All right, sit up straight with my feet flat on the floor. I'm like, yeah, it's getting in the way, but this tension being created by that. The other one is open your throat. Which, if you ever walked into the door and said that to your doctor, they would just throw on the floor and laugh, because anatomically, that's not what your throat does. Your throat closes, it doesn't open. So to ask someone to open your throat, here in the back, right, make the Darth Vader move, that's your pharynx. That's involved in digestion. That's around the top of your esophagus. It's not in front of the trachea until you put it there. So the idea that we have to have a little bit of information about our anatomy so that we're giving our students a piece of instruction, because if they got to that place, up is that this was happening when they were trying to play, and they were still trying to execute the thing that was the third most important person in their life at a point in time when they were wrapping emotions, when emotions are raw, right? Our emotional centers don't come to complete full control until we're 25 years old. That means when you do your doctorate stream, through your last year of your doctorate, you're clinically insane. Having taught college for more than 6 years, I can tell you that's true. But that's why you remember. That's why you're the first person that broke up with you. That's why I remember what happened to you in that junior high dance, whatever it was, good or bad. Because your emotions were raw at that point and they were rapid. So when you say something to those students at this moment, it sticks forever. And the proof is when they walk through their door, at that door. They still hold you in that kind of regard. And so if we've given them a piece of information that will make the tension go away and provide them a way out of their troubles, we've done our job. Not only that, but if our real job, truthfully, which I learned through the example of Michelle going to teach beginning band, when she always wanted to just do great literature at the high school level. Oh man, it's like, hey, you're teaching the joy of music for forever. They will remember you for forever. So if you get all this information right about that, oh man, the whole way through. Because it's not supposed to hurt to play, it's supposed to feel good to play. And if it's hurting, or there's something tense, that's our body telling us that there's something wrong. And little pieces of information like open your throat, sit up straight, feet flat on the floor, can be disastrous for somebody in a piece of interpretation when they're in a moment of stress, because it doesn't provide them with a way out that anatomically matches with their body. So we owe it to ourselves. So here's the book. It's called The Structures and Movements of Breathing. It's by Barbara Kahn. Structures and Movement of Breathing. The author's last name is Conable, C-O-N-A-B-L-E. It is on me always. It's a Tabo size because she was a choral director. So it was always in. When she would rehearse, things weren't going well in the music, she'd take it out, doing this, picture, here's how it really works, do this, go back to the music, it would go better. C-O-N-A-B-L-E, Barbara Conable. It's 47 pages long and there's lots of pictures, which is soothing for a tuba. When Sam breathing gym at Banner Healthcare, a hospital system CEO and the head of pulmonology across 6 different hospitals, and I talked about how to breathe and how we go about it. And the head of pulmonology company goes, where did you take classes in pulmonology? And I was like, I didn't take any classes in pulmonology. I read this one book. He goes, what's the book? And I showed him the book, and he goes, everything you know about pulmonology is in there. I said, yeah, it's 47 pages. That's like I tapped out at 50. I only have 4 valves, man. And he goes, he says, your explanation of pulmonology, he says, it's better than medical school. He says, you can teach my residents about how the body works. And I was like, oh, well, it's this really cool little book. And so it's like $11 on Amazon. It's super cheap. And nobody in the wind band knows about it. Well, hardly ever knows about it. She was an Alexander teacher and a great choral teacher. She and her brother Bill, who taught cello at Indiana University, invented a thing called body mapping, which is to simply acknowledge that our concept of how the body works must match anatomical truth in order for our body to work in a free and efficient way. That's their contribution to music education, which is enormous, and it's the platform upon which I build rehabilitation programs for people that come to me that have been injured and are hurting when they play. So, I have to know about posture. We just learned about it. Let me review. Knees below the hips, sit down over my sit bones. What about when we're standing out in the marching band field? Great, there are 6 balance points in the body. We do this in intercession, so I'll come back. Right? Feet, knees, hips, hip joint, base of the spine, end of the arm, skull to the spine, everything in alignment. It's all in the book. It's all in the book. When those are all in line, the muscles relax. There are 0 muscles in your body designed to hold you up. They're pushing, pulling, and rotating. If you're holding up your instrument, you're standing up, you're using muscles for which they are not designed. So you're overstressing the body. Tension is the enemy of tone. If I sit down and I play, when I play my instrument, if I play my body, it shows up in my sound. Right? Slight tension, like all state high school. There's junior high. Band, take 2. Australia. So I have to have an approach that allows me to be tension-free in my body when I play. Tension is the enemy of tone. So I have to have a thing with a stand, because if I'm spending time gripping my instrument to try to play, there's no way I can be relaxed and play for you. All right, so if they're not going to use the tuba stand, and they put their tux pants on, this is always tuba players' biggest revelation. They do all the stuff, they have their jeans on, their shorts on, and the tuba sticks to this stuff. Then they get their tux pants on, and they go put their tuba, and it's like, whoop! And they spend their whole first concert playing for you like, not a tuba at all! You know? And they can't play anything, because it's like gripping to keep it from falling down, because it's like, you kill them if they get at the tuba, right? So they're sitting there, don't get. Shelf paper. The rubberized stuff that goes in a drawer or on a shelf in your kitchen. If you get it in the color of your pants, nobody will see it. It sticks to the tuba, never flips again. 10-cent bit. So after that, they have to have an approach that allows them to have tension-free in their body. You know about the breathing gym. This is to get people moving and breathing like they need to be able to play an instrument. How do you connect it to a brass instrument? It's by the ear, right? You learn how to say stuff on a board. You learn how to say stuff on a board by going to kindergarten, and they wrote it on the board. The teacher had an apple in their hand. They wrote it on the board. It's my whiteboard. Right? And then we looked at it, and we looked at it, and then you said it, and then we looked at it, and you said it. Everybody, let's say apple. Apple. That's great. Look at it. Say it. Apple. So what's happening in that kindergarten moment when they're learning this word on the board is that our eyes are looking at it and our ears are hearing it. It's fusing together. It's eyes and ears and eyes and ears and eyes and ears and eyes and ears. And pretty soon one day we see that in a book, and in our little kindergarten brain, we don't even have to say it out loud anymore. All of a sudden we hear this in our head. Apple. And it happens without, it's like, whoa, how did that get in my head? First day, get in your head. How did the Star Spangled Banner get in your head? How did apple get in your head? And not only that, but when you see it on the page, when you see that F concert on the page, it's always an F concert. When you see apple, it's never guacamole. It's never that. It's never that. You know more than 12 fruits? Of course you do. In fact, you know a lot of aspects about 12 fruits. You know what they look like, you know how they're spelled, you know how they taste, you know what they smell like, you know what it's like when it's ripe, when it's not ripe, the texture of it. Forte, piano, staccato, accent, 12 notes. Who's from the state of Texas? Who teaches in Texas? Right, this is the greatest place on the planet because they start every rehearsal with an F. They call it F around the room, which I love. They teach perfect pitch in Texas. By the time somebody's a freshman, like 6 weeks in, singing F, that comes out of their mouth. It's like just like that. You look at it and say it enough times, pretty soon bang, that comes out of your mouth. It's like, oh, that perfect pitch. I hate the name of that. It's just memorized sounds. You memorize Happy Birthday. Why can't you memorize that? They do already. They do it in Texas at the beginning of every rehearsal. I did it for myself. Walk by a piano every day freshman year. Look at the F, play the F. Look at the F, play the F. Look at the F, play the F. Week 1, week 2. Look at the F, play the F. Sing it. Look at the F, play the F. Sing it. Look at the F, play the F. Sing it. Week 3, go to the F, look at it, try it with my finger on the F. Most of the time I was right, then play just to test the C. Week 4, think of an F in my head on a piano keyboard bed. How to think. It's just memorize pitch. How does this happen on a brass instrument? Ba, ba, beep. How does that happen? How does that get in here? Apple. I heard it first. Response to this must be motivated by this. So all your brass players need to have more ear work all the time. This responds to that. I play more in tune and have to move my when I know the tune. So that's the other part of it. Ear, 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 ear. Great music to teach beginning band to have general music. I think we forget to connect this. We forget to connect this part, like they walk in the door. Even if they've never seen a note, but it looks like on the page, they've already had to sing soft. They've already had to sing medium. They've already had to sing loud. Had to sing in certain pitches. All you have to do is connect it and give it. And if you wanted to always jump, they play your instrument on this, and it can't be about right or wrong when they start to play. It has to be about, does that match this pitch? Because they've already done 4 years or 5 years of pitch matching K through 4. They come in your door. They come in your door in junior high. They've had a lot more than that. They can distinguish between 2 pitches. So that's a much better way to keep you jumping in. If you wanted to play this, and they're playing this, it's a matching game. Hey, ball. That's the one you want you to play. This is not this one. And they play the pitch matching game, and the ears will take them to the right place. The chops will respond eventually. Then they'll jump in for you. It's about, oh, that's not for you. No, then it's trepidation set in from day one. And they'll never jump in for you. You need that. You need that. You need to help your helpers help. So you have to keep them brave the whole time. For tubas, get a melody involved as soon as you possibly can, because they'll never support a great melody in your band if they know how to play. And it's not in the pedagogy, it's not anywhere else. You're like, well, if you only play the tuba, if I play the tuba but only from the tuba books, still written, that's my range in the tuba books that are written. How am I supposed to play the cadenza of the first concerto written in 1952 for the tuba, which goes that high? It's not in any books. We steal trumpet books, take horn books, take them from them. Oboe books, flute books. My pedagogy comes from the treble clef. This is the bass clef. So let them have it. Teach them the transposition. Doesn't matter what it is. C, B flat, F, E flat. Makes zero difference. Put them all four. You have that at the bottom. For sure. So make the ears lead the way. All the way through. That little kid, let them have part of it be figuring it out. Right? Not just what's in the book. Teach the dynamic scale from day one. How is Japanese so much more expressive than? Well, when you open up the Japanese wind band method book, what is on the inside of the first cover are all the possibilities. All the way down. Right? What's in our books? Right. Right, then we sandwich mezzo in here. How come nobody plays mezzo? So I really think the same is true of tuba players. And be involved, you have to teach them bass functions so they understand why they're playing whole notes and what the important why it is pop part of school. Because it propels the time. And show them that, hey, by the way, yeah, Jocko's doing this now, Victor Wood's doing this now, and that's what same thing. Around same kind of bass function. So that they stay involved, so they like to do it. That's what I got. My mom went to Schmidt Music in Minneapolis. She came back with every tuba solo ever written. I went to Gregson, the tuba concerto, and the following tuba concerto. Before I knew how to play 6 notes. Right? The following tuba concerto, 4.5 octaves. Wide spread. I couldn't play that, but the possibilities were sitting there in front of me. I thought, you'll figure it out. Right? I had still have my Don Williams tuba that had all the fingers written in crayon. Last week. So that's the main thing for me. And really on the possibilities, it's all of them. There's so many great examples of great tuba players playing great melodies and all kinds of incredible things. And stuff in the movies that you can point to and they can find on YouTube. That just point in that direction. There's lots of great fun stuff to watch. Okay? Is that me? No. Question? Yes.
Start people with their legs crossed, or is that the solution once they start growing